Well, what is up, beautiful people? YouTube, my name is Jerutastic, and today's Tropico 6 tips and tricks video is not about economy, not about military, not about politics. Well, kind of about politics and kind of about military, I guess, and kind of about economy. But I've done so many of those tips and tricks video for you guys for Tropico 6. You guys will always appreciate them, always like them, always want more. But today, it won't be like a dive around the island. We're going to be looking at one thing and one thing only, and that is the Constitution. Now, this video is going to be kind of a one glove fits all, if you will, because I'm going to be covering all aspects of the Tropic and Constitution. But also, if you're more of a seasoned player, this may be not the video for you. But if you're more in the medium to a beginner level, this video will help you explain, or will explain to you all these Constitution things, what they do, what to use it for. And of course, as always, this depends on your play style. Now, some people want to be a normal island, a capitalist island, dictatorship, religious island, whatever the case may be. This all depends on your style, okay? So I'm here just kind of telling you what they are one by one, and then we'll go from there, when maybe you should use them or not. Let's start off with the first Constitution, which is voting rights. Now, in my case, I'm really advanced in the game. I have all citizens vote. I'm really advanced like this. What year is this? This is, I believe it's like 2187. And I started off in the colonial era. So that gives you an idea. Now, I have all citizens vote just because I know the support is there. However, let's say hypothetically, maybe you don't have as much support and the wealthy population happens to be on your side. Then you would select, I don't want to do that. You would select wealthy citizens vote. Open ballot elections, employees of governmental buildings vote for El Presidente based on their approval. Those with below 45% might turn rebel, etc., so on and so forth. So that's in really extreme times. But in general, I just leave that on all citizens vote. That when it comes to the voting rights. Now, when it comes to armed forces, you got a pacifist state, militia, and professional soldiers. Pacifist state is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to disable all military buildings. It decreases the rebels by 75% and increases your standings with the superpower. Okay? Therefore, when you're a pacifist state, okay, people are not going to invade you, right? And rebels internally will have a 75% less chance of being violent towards your regime. Boring, who wants that, right? But again, it depends what kind of island you want. Now, generally, what I have is some mix between militia and professional soldiers, and it kind of goes up and down. And let me explain. Militia means anybody, whether they have an education or not, can be in your army, can be in your military. This is great if you have a lot of unemployed people and you want to build the army up. Now, with militia, allegedly, supposedly, your army won't be as, what's the word I'm looking for here, as advanced or as well trained, so they might die a little quicker. You, as El Presidente, you might say, who cares, right? But that's what I use it for, as a means of employment, but also to have a bigger army. A professional soldier, they deal more damage, and the military standings also increases with that. Now, what I use this for, once again, sometimes when you build high schools really early on, you have the opposite problem where most of the people that are going to be unemployed will be high school educated folks. So what I would do is turn that on. Or let's say my army's just getting wiped, barely winning, maybe go with the professional soldiers. However, for most of the times, I would say not even most, majority of the times, what I use is militia. But these are the differences between those. Religion and state. You got theocracy, freedom of religion, and an atheist state. Theocracy is pretty self-explanatory. Religious buildings gonna start imminent crime safety, and they almost act like a police station, okay? Now, theocracy obviously is gonna increase your standings with the religious faction by a whole lot, but the liberty overall and the tourism overall is gonna become more of like a religious colony, religious island is gonna dip down. Freedom of religion is freedom of religion. That's your constitution. People want to be atheists. People want to believe in God, whatever the case may be. That's the option you're given your folks. And that's really kind of the neutral one. Again, if you want to be more of a religious island, you go with theocracy, which I've done a lot of different island gameplays, like from military dictatorship to capitalist 222. Never done a theocracy. Maybe that's a good idea down the road. But regardless, that's what this is. An atheist state, what it does is increases the scientific aspect of your island, such as research buildings by 50%, okay? It does disable religious buildings and citizens that are in the political view towards the religious factions. They're not gonna really like you a whole lot, right? With that being said, what I've noticed with Tropico mostly is that a lot of the times the religious faction is one of the most prominent, like one of the biggest ones. So you don't want to completely abandon the religious aspect. You don't want to go an atheist state. If you want to have a stable island, you want to go in freedom religion, where the religious are not going to be completely in love with you, but they're going to like you. And the atheists are not going to be completely in love with you, but they're going to like you. Okay? It all depends, you know, and these are things you can change. For example, let's say you really want to unlock something or unlock a new research for a building, and you really have to get it right there and right there. Okay, then go to atheist state for a little bit. And next election, amend the Constitution. So that's kind of what it is. Labor policy is a huge thing. Labor policy is very, very huge. And again, all depends on where you're at with your island. When I generally start my island and I don't have the biggest population and I don't have the biggest workforce, what I do is a life's work. That's what I do, because a life's work means you're going to get your butt to work early on in your life, and what retirement, right? You're going to be working till you drop dead. It does give you that workforce earlier on. However, there is obviously some downsides to it. As you can see here, that does decrease the quality of each workplace by 2. Not really the biggest hit, but the immigration by 10%, especially early on, especially when you want immigrants to build that workforce, might hit you hard. However, like I said, when I want production, I want money, I want a successful economy at the beginning of my island, I'm talking about the 1900s to maybe the Cold War era, I would use a life's work. Happy childhood is pretty standard to how it is in the West, I guess. It depends on where you are in the West, but because that's also going out the window, not to get too political, but happy childhood is pretty simple. You work at the age of 18 years, you do your thing, etc., so on and so forth. It's basically like the default state. There it actually says right here. I didn't even read it, honestly. Early retirement, what it does is lowers the age by 5 and increases job quality by 5. Okay, so that means they get to retire early, but they're generally more happier in it. But again, that runs the risk early on of you not having enough people in the workforce. So that's why I think this is one of the more important ones that you have to make a decision on early on. But again, the more your island goes, like there's no point in me actually at this stage, I don't really play this on this island map anymore, but it makes no sense for me to be on, on life's work, and actually probably even makes more sense to be on early retirement, just because my economy is doing good, blah, 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 etc., so on and so forth. So that's what it is. Ecology, again, you're here to cater to the crowd as you go first. Zero emissions at first. I mean, if you don't really want to have an economy and your play style is you want to be a green island from the get-go, from even before a successful economy, I guess go for it. But you can kiss the efficiency of your industrial buildings by a lot, and as well as your industrial standings. Okay, that really does not really work out at all well for you, zero emissions. However, it does decrease the pollution from those factories, from those industrial buildings by 75%. That's a big number. And again, that's why I keep saying it all depends on how you go about your island. Energy efficiencies decreases the power consumption of those buildings by 20%, but also increases their buildings by 5% and their pollution by 5%. So there's also an upkeep decrease of $5. Now, this is not a bad thing if you're suffering with power. Maybe your economy is not like doing the best, but it's not doing the worst. It's not a bad thing to go first. And that's one thing you can go for. Economy first is pretty straightforward. I don't care about the ozone layer. Go ahead, work. They're going to decrease the efficiency of the industrial buildings by 10 and the buildings by 50%. Again, In this case, for me, probably makes no sense for me to be an economy first anymore. Hell, I can even play around with energy, with zero emissions. But this is what this means right here. Separation of power. Now, if you are running a dictatorship, you better select the first one, because no separation means the government has a say in everything you do in your life. That's what that constitution means. Citizens' actions, if you want to jail somebody or kill them or banish them or even bribe them, actually, are decreased by 90%. Crazy amount of number. Oh, sorry, except for bribe. I got that wrong. So, but that the rest of all the other citizen actions are decreased by 90%. And for those that are beginners, I said I was gonna really do like walk around the map a little bit here and there, but let me show you what that looks like. So that's what this is, and you'll see why these are not locked for me. So I can bribe them, but that's about it. So that's all of these right there: arrange accident, kill, arrest, and institutionalize. So let's go back to our constitution. So that's what no separation is. Okay, official separation is a courthouse required to be able to issue citizen action. So you actually need the building in there, and 20% of interactions costs are transferred to the Swiss bank. So you're not really completely clean slate, but you're not there yet either. True separation, that means this is a free island, free country, do whatever you want, have a nice day. That's what it is. It increases the global liberty by 5, but it's a true separation of power. Again and again, depends on how you want to play your island. No separation if you have, maybe you're doing a lot of espionage, you want to kill all your rivals or jail them or make it look like an accident. That's what you would go for. Immigration is a great one to also to look at, especially early on. The love it or leave it makes your standings a little bit better, or your approval rating a little bit better. However, anybody that's not in favor of you they will not have the chance to kind of turn their views around if they're below 50%. Meaning it'll kind of like how we have here going on again. Love it or leave it. But that's what this is. Any citizens whose approval rating for you is below 50% will be invited to get the hell out of Tropico. Okay, that's what this means. Free to go is they come and go as they wish. You'll have immigration come and people leave as they wish, etc., so on and so forth. That's what free to go is. And best country on earth is citizens are not allowed to immigrate. All right, so that means they can come in here, but they ain't leaving. Whether you like it, hate it, whatever. They come in there, they get their passport stamps at the airport or at the port. The customs officer takes the passport, says good luck getting out. It all depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish. Best country on earth. I never really, here's the thing. I never really seen a lot of effectiveness with the love it or leave it. I really didn't, because I did put it on when I had a lot of approval ratings that were not very favorable. It wasn't very effective for me. So you can forget about that, to be honest. Free to go is the default state, and I would pick the default state. Honestly, best country on earth is going to probably do more harm than good for you. Media independence. This is good for making money, actually. State-controlled media, what it does is that it does decrease the liberty, but you're constantly spewing out the propaganda. It might sway some people for you. It might not sway some people for you. It all really depends. Okay, it all really depends. The default state for this is free media right here, as that no law shall be enacted to propose or abridge from the freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. That means the stations do whatever they want, okay? Sponsored content increases the revenue of media buildings by 100%. So it doesn't really help with liberty. It's not going to help you with liberty. However, media stations, actually, ironically enough, there's one right here, does make you more money. I don't know, this one, that's crazy. I'm losing money in this one. Is it not? Oh, it's because it's an open mind. That's why. Okay. But I want to find an example for you, even though, like I said, this is not going to be a video where I bounce around the map and show you examples. But let me find an example here for you. All of a sudden, apparently, I can't find one. Is this a spot? Pay TV? There it is. So as you can see, $1.81 million in profit throughout our time here. Any other one here? The sponsored media. Looks like maybe I just have one in here. Oh, see, I have so many islands. I forgot which one this is. I remember which one this is. Dang, I did a whole playthrough series on this one too. That's crazy. Anyways, That's what it is. And my other islands, I would have like multiple TV stations and all make me money. So that's really what you're looking at here for the sponsored media. Let's go to Constitution. That's what you're looking at for the sponsored content. Now, this is good down the road too, because whatever, if your Liberty is good, they're liking you for other edicts or whatever the case may be, go for that. Okay, personal rights. You got total surveillance. Again, I did that in my military dictatorship. And if there's a Ministry of Information, all of this stuff, it does decrease the liberty, but in some sense, it'd be easier to know what they're thinking of, where they're at. Do they like you? Do they not like you? It's easier for you to see the overall stats. And what I mean by the overall stats is this right here. Let me find an individual here, whatever, doesn't matter who. It's kind of like this right here. You already know where to align. You already know their views, all this stuff. So it just unlocks that for you. So that's what that does, okay? Security surveillance is police stations and religious buildings in a theocracy check all residents and workers in the crime safety radius and detect hitting rolls. Again, it does decrease the liberty. So that's what security surveillance is. And privacy rights, that's just, you don't have any say over it. They can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. It's all how you want to play it. All right, we go to healthcare. Are your people dying a lot? Cool, then single payer system. Or maybe a hybrid system. People not dying a lot, you're not losing a lot of population to deaths, but you're not making the most money. Go with paid healthcare system. I really don't have much to expand on this because it's pretty self-explanatory for this. Paid healthcare is paid healthcare, and it does increase efficiency. A single payer system, meaning everybody pays the same amount, and a hybrid system is for citizens that are broke. Then they pay less, okay? Or sorry, they don't pay a fee, but they only get 75% of healthcare happiness when visiting. It all depends. There's not much for me here to cover. It's pretty self-explanatory. Similar to marriage rights too. Obviously, an open marriage is not going to make you likable by the religious faction, but it will make you likable and give you more global liberty. Also going to increase your tourism. Traditional marriage is a traditional marriage. That's what I really force it on. And I don't think I've ever done forced marriage, even though it is a video game. I just think it's so fucking weird to have this on. Even though it is a video game, I know. But anyways, each citizen will marry another adult from the opposite gender as long as they are of age. Decreases the housing happiness by 2%. So if you want to pop out a lot of babies, you want that population boost, hit that forced marriage on them. Okay. Global market economy. This one is important. Protectionism will disable all your trade routes. Okay, it will disable your trade routes, but the good of that is that the regular export prices will be increased by 5%. And what does this mean? Trades are right here. And even when you don't have things that you don't trade, you're still going to put them in the docks, and they're getting exported out. So what this means is that you will not have any more trades, but your standard things that you're trading out, the ship just came, so I can't really give you an example here. Here's one right here. So like all these other things that I don't necessarily have a trade route on, those will all be increased by 5%. So that's what that means. If you're playing a nationalist island, maybe it's a good idea. But obviously, really money-wise, it's not the best thing to go. Protectionism is not the way to go. Free trade is just free trade, standard prices for everything. You get to have a trading routes and all that stuff. International trade partnership, all export trade prices are increased by 10%, while the standard export prices of all goods are decreased by 5%. Okay, so it's a trade-off. What this means is when you do have a trade deal, all of these will be increased by 10%, sorry, while the regular things like this will be decreased by 5%. I don't know why you would do that, but hey, you play your island how you want to play it. If you ask me what's the way to go, it is fair or free trade, sorry. International trade partnership, you're basically kissing up to the powers and saying, hey, I'll give you this trade exclusively, give me 10% more. Everything else you get for 5% less. And this one you're saying, the hell with everybody else. I'm only going to get 5% more. Not really the smartest thing. So free trade. So that's have been every constitution and every constitution option in Tropico 6 explained to you. If you have any questions, seriously, let me know in the comment section below. Again, this all really matters at what stage you're at in the island. Let's say you're playing a regular island. You're not really having any theme to your island. You just want a successful, beautiful island. Then here's what I would do. All citizens vote. Militia would have freedom, religion, happy childhood, economy first, true separation, free to go, would have sponsored content, security surveillance, paid healthcare, traditional marriage, and free trade. But that's what I would work towards. You have to amend things as you go along. You have to change things around as you go along. If this video helped you out, help me out by hitting the like and subscribe button. We are trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. Hopefully we'll get it, but it all starts with that subscribe button. Thank you guys very much for watching. My name is Tastic. I'm out. See you guys.